All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are almost ready to get started. We're going to wait for a couple more people to show up, but I just kind of wanted to run through some introductions. So my name is Sarah. I'm the marketing manager here at Snapstream, and also joining me is the host of today's webinar. He's our founder and CEO, Rakesh, and then we have Mike, who is our government account manager, and he is going to be running today's demonstration. So just a few notes for everybody. We do want this to be a conversational experience. So, please feel free to speak up with any kind of questions that you have at any point. You're not going to be interrupting us. There's a little questions box here on the side of your panel where you can just submit us questions, and feel free to do that at any point. But yeah, I think we're almost ready to get started then. And so I'll get ready to hand things over here to Rakesh in just a minute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rakesh Agrawal. I'm the founder and CEO of Snapstream. Glad to have all of you here today and to learn more about Snapstream. And we'll talk specifically about how the Senate uses Snapstream to record and monitor television. Give me a second here while I get things set up. Like Sarah said, please ask questions. These presentations are always better when we make them interactive, and so would love to hear questions as we go through the presentation. Also, if you notice on the presentation, there are some handouts. I believe there's some handouts, and you'll see some PDFs. You'll see pricing for the product, and they're not there yet, but you'll see the handouts a little bit later. Those are things you can download and kind of take with you from the presentation. So let's get the ball rolling. All right, share my screen here. Okay, so we're going to be talking today about how the U.S. Senate does media monitoring using Snapstream. So first, to start out with, I'll tell you about who we are as a company. Snapstream is a 30-person company located in Houston, Texas, and we have a long history of our product being used in government agencies to record and search television and to produce TV clips for government agencies. In fact, when we got into this business, our very first customer was a county sheriff's office, and they had a bank of consumer DVRs, and whether there was a car chase that day that broke into soap operas, or they were monitoring the evening news broadcast for mentions of their department, or TV appearances of their public information officers, they had a very labor-intensive process for keeping track of what was being said about them on TV, and Snapstream was enabled them to basically monitor television a lot more efficiently. So we have a number of customers. Nashville Metro Police, City of Austin is a really interesting case study. They implemented Snapstream across the entire city and a bunch of their city departments, so there was a shared solution. But let's go into, first of all, why is media monitoring important? So it's obviously just important on a daily basis to track ongoing events and issues. It's your pipeline for feedback on how the public is going to be interpreting the messages that you're putting out there. Your messages pass to the media push those messages out via local TV channels to all of your constituents, and so sort of monitoring that to understand what they're saying is key to determining whether you're doing a good job in getting your message out there. Snapstream is especially critical and important in crisis management situations. We were used during Deepwater Horizon in the Joint Incident Response Center as one example. We enable, we're in several emergency management centers, and so in an emergency, it's especially important to have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the media. So, you can use Snapstream. We've seen it used often for spokesperson training. We make it really easy to share coverage with your higher-ups who may not have a media focus across your city government in different departments. So a lot of different use cases for media monitoring. And traditionally, folks use clipping services, which can be expensive and might provide limited coverage. They might not record all the channels that you want to be able to search. Expensive because they often charge per clip or per seat. And for some of the older services, they can be slow. They're not web-based. They require some time to send you the high-resolution clip of a show. And then, of course, we have a lot of people, probably more people actually, that use traditional DVRs and VHS cassette tapes. And these are just, it should be obvious, but these are very labor-intensive. They're time-consuming, prone to human error. You may miss stuff, and then ultimately, you still have to manually browse through the recordings. There's no way to do a search like you can with Snapstream. So, just to describe our solution a little bit more, Snapstream is an appliance that lives at your location, and so that's what you see here in number 2. You connect your TV source, so that could be a TV set-top box. It might be just plain old cable TV into the back of Snapstream. And Snapstream is then connected to your local area network. And then your users, i.e. your public information officers or whoever else you give access to Snapstream, they all access Snapstream in the web browser on any Mac, any Windows PC, Chromebook, and they access it inside of any browser. Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever browser it is you might want to use. So that's kind of the overall idea. Snapstream is a lot like a DVR, except if you look here at step number 2, that appliance can record up to 10 television shows at a time. So it's kind of like you think about it like a DVR on steroids. And then once you have told Snapstream what it is you want to record with our easy program guide, we make it so you can search inside TV. You can do ad hoc searches like what you see here. A search on Oroville Dam shows all the places where Oroville Dam was mentioned on TV. You can also set up alerts so that you get an email daily or even in real time when the mayor of your city is mentioned on TV, or your sheriff is mentioned on TV, or any other search term. And there's no limit on the number of TV alerts that you can set up. You can set up as many of those as you want. You can have an unlimited number of users on Snapstream as well. And once you've found something, either from an ad hoc search or from a TV alert, you can create a clip of that really easily, and you can share it in a bunch of different ways, including to people that don't have access to Snapstream, including people within your local area network that do have access to Snapstream. Snapstream automatically, as it's recording things, builds an archive of TV, and the archive is searchable. So one of the questions as you're looking at Snapstream that will ask you to recommend the right solution for you is how deep of an archive do you want? Do you want to store stuff for 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, 5 years? The requirements of, say, The Daily Show, who is one of our customers, who wants to record everything in high definition and keep it, practically speaking, forever, versus a small city government, are two different things. And so, but regardless of what the size is, we make it really easy for that archive to exist and be searchable. And so I want to talk about how the U.S. Senate uses us to record and monitor television. It's pretty interesting. So what they do at the U.S. Senate is they have a large cluster of Snapstreams. So a single Snapstream can record 10 shows at a time, but if you combine multiple units together, in aggregate they can record 20, 30, 50, 100 channels at a time. So if you're a small, say, city government, this isn't going to matter to you, but Snapstream is extremely scalable. But they record Senate floor proceedings, which include closed captioning. They record C-SPAN, which is a variety of things, including House and Senate floor proceedings, as well as relevant public events. And then they record a bunch of national news. And what they're able to do by making all these recordings is they're able to give access across all of the Senate offices to their customers, to the Senate offices, and those individual offices are able to go extract their own stuff from these TV recordings. So they can go and do their own searches, they can set up their own alerts, and they can basically keep track of whatever happens to be relevant to each of those individual offices. So it's a great example of like a distributed usage scenario where a bunch of people are using Snapstream, across the local area network. And in addition to finding the clips and perhaps sharing them internally, sharing them with their actual senator, they also share things to their Facebook accounts, because we have very tightly integrated support for Twitter and Facebook. They share videos directly to YouTube, and each office can work fully autonomously. So, for example, one of the Senate offices might have the Twitter account for their elected official on their account. They don't want the other offices to be able to post to that Twitter account. Likewise for Facebook, and all of that is security, firewalled off between the different users. Another great example of Snapstream in action is the city of Austin. So before they had Snapstream, every department, fire, police, convention center bureau, etc., all did their own thing when it came to monitoring television. Some people had VCRs, there were a couple of clipping services, but the whole setup was costly, it was labor intensive, and no one was on the same page. They put a Snapstream in at the municipal channel, and they shared the cost of the upfront cost and the recurring cost of Snapstream across the city departments, and everybody got an account on the local Snapstream server. And it created a single solution, totally self-service setup. In the previous model, some departments would call up other departments and say, hey, could you get that clip for me? And wasting a lot of people's time. This model moved it to a place where everybody just was getting the clips that they needed for themselves, and they were all able to search for exactly the right moment. The fire department could put in a alert for Austin fire. The police department could put in a thing for Austin fire, etc.
Hey, Rakesh, I'm sorry. I'm just going to interrupt you here. We actually have a question that kind of came in. Someone looks like they're asking, if this is a hardware instead of a web service. So I don't know if you kind of want to address that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it is absolutely local hardware. So it's something that lives at your premises, a lot like a DVR or a TiVo. We do make it really easy to install. So you have to provide basically three things. You provide the TV source, you provide power, and you provide the network connection. And I mean the LAN connection. It really doesn't need much internet bandwidth at all. But it's definitely not a web service like TVIs. It's something where you're recording this locally, And you know, with it, you have unlimited access to clipping, unlimited users. It can be shared across a bunch of departments. The clips are a lot higher quality. A lot of things that distinguish us from a service like TVI's. Have any other questions right now? No? You know, it looks like we have some poll questions. I'll just go through the poll questions here. I'm curious, and I'll share the results back out, but I'm curious, how often is your organization mentioned on TV? I'm curious, you know, are you mentioned on TV daily, weekly, monthly, or maybe you're not sure? I'll take a second and let everyone cast their vote. Okay, yeah, so we've got a handful of people that have voted now. I'll share the results back out. So, um, you know, majority of you, I guess exactly half voted that you get mentioned daily on television. A third of you weekly, and you know, 1/6 of you not sure. Another question is, just to give us an idea, how are you monitoring television right now? Do you use a clipping service? Do you have some sort of DVR technology like a TiVo or VCRs? Do you currently, or you just don't monitor television? We come across a lot of organizations that that simply say they rely on, you know, the kindness of strangers. They rely on people to tell them that they were on TV. Okay, we'll take a look here. And we gave the option to choose multiple options here, but you know, so you know, it's distributed. So you have some people that use a DVR and probably some other methodology. Quite a few clipping services, though. That's great. And
We have another question actually that's pretty interesting on here. Somebody asked about if we're monitoring members in different local networks from one central location. So they want to know if you can set it up to monitor Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento at the same time, even if you're not located in those cities.
yeah, so Snapstream records what you plug into it. So we do have a cloud product, so you could record feeds out of market. You would put a Snapstream encoder in each of those remote markets, and it would upload those TV sources to Snapstream Cloud, and you could log in and watch them at cloud.snapstream.com. The product works the same way. When Mike does the demo, you'll see the exact same product, but we're not a TV monitoring service, so we're not recording TV feeds out of market. We're an appliance, a technology provider that you can use to monitor television. Okay, so I'll continue on with the presentation here. Okay, yeah. So City of Austin, you know, we talked about that. It's was a great solution. I think at this point I'm going to hand it over to Mike and let him take it away from here and talk about you know, how the product actually works. He's going to do a product demonstration, and I'm going to sign off. Sarah and Mike will wrap up the presentation after they're done with the demo.
All right, thanks, Rakesh. So I'm just getting my screen set up here to share with you guys. So we can easily dive in here, pull up our library again, and you know, let's use MSNBC for this example. And you can see as soon as I pull up the show, even though this show started off at 1 o'clock, I can instantly dive directly into the recording. If I want to see what's going on in real time, it's very easy to pull that up. All I do is simply come down here to our navigation bar and simply select skip to end. By doing that, it brings us up to real time, and I could follow along with what's being said. Right now they're getting ready for a White House press briefing. Of course, talking about Donald Trump and the wiretap claims that he's been making. Over to the right, you'll notice that we are pulling in all the closed caption data from the actual broadcast. This is how we make Snapstream searchable. So as we pull in that data, we can easily search for keywords, people's names, certain political topics, just by simply clicking the search bar, and typing directly into Snapstream. So, for example, I can look for Sean Spicer, see if they've mentioned his name, and you can see here that in the past 24 minutes, Sean Spicer has been mentioned 8 times. So, with Snapstream, I could easily kind of pick where I want to focus on, what mentions I'm looking for, just by clicking or searching for Sean Spicer, and then simply navigating through the results that are listed here.
Yeah, and actually we listed a couple of questions for everybody that is attending the webinar today, and we asked, if anybody had any searches they wanted us to pull up. So we have a couple of those here, Mike, if you want to kind of do a search and we can see what pops up. But somebody requested that we did a search for Winter Storm Stella, because we know that's affecting a couple of areas, or was anyway. Also, I just want to make a quick note. The video is a little jumpy, but that has nothing to do with our system. That is just go to webinar.
All right, so you said Winter Storm Stella. So let's take a look at that. That seems to be the hot topic this week, as it's attacking the Northeast up there. So you can see just by typing in Winter Storm Stella, instantly it pulls up a list of results. So we've got shows, 20 hours ago, a day ago, on various channels. Even ESPN was talking about Winter Storm Stella and the impacts that it's having, in the sports world, where, right below that we have Worldwide Exchange, where they're talking about, impacts, globally over the, throughout the news.
Yeah, and then another one, it looks like somebody asked that we search for the federal funds rate.
So federal funds rate. So again, we just simply type in the words that we're looking for, federal funds rate, and you'll see Snapstream delivers us a list of results varying exactly what we're looking for. So this is a really good, good segue into talking about some of the Snapstream search filters. So you can see just by searching for federal funds rate, Snapstream automatically locates federal funds and rate, or fund rate. But it may not necessarily focus in on the exact topic of what we're looking for in federal funds rate. So we have preset filters that we can use. If you've ever done a Google search, you probably use quotations or filters or anything like that to automatically find what you're looking for. I can do the same thing here. So I can simply add quotations around our federal funds rate, and instead of finding federal and funds and rate all over our topics, I can simply hone in on newscasts where federal funds rate was the actual topic of mention. So you can see here, Power Lunch, 24 hours ago mentioned that topic. So automatically we can dive right into that. So you can see right there, as soon as we clicked on that mention, it dropped us in a few seconds right before the mention occurred, so that way it gives us background context to the story that we're looking for, and then it walked us right through that mention. So for my workflow, if I wanted to capture that content, I could simply, click on our toolbar over here to the right. We're going to create a start point to create a clip, and you'll notice down here in our toolbar or our play bar that there is a start indicator. We'll let that play through. So we'll go ahead and end the clip there. So, he mentioned our term federal funds rate. We wanted to take a quick 13-second of this interview. And in order to do that, once we've set our start and our end parameters, all we have to do is simply click the scissors icon. We can call this our federal funds rate. Mention. And I can just simply clip this out and store it into my library. Now, also with Snapstream, beyond clipping, we give you a couple of different options. You heard Rakesh talk about being able to share this content directly to social media, or share this with, internal or external members of your organization. So, for example, if I wanted to send out an email via Snapstream, I could instantly send this video clip to anybody that's, they don't have to have any knowledge of Snapstream, but they could easily receive this video clip. They can review it on their phone, their tablet, their PC, whatever device they have that connects to the internet and receives email. They would actually get a link to this video and they would be able to review that clip, even if they had nothing to do with the Snapstream system in general. So for this example, we'll go ahead and just clip this out and store it in our library, as well as create a couple of social media posts here. So, as we're clipping this out and we're storing it directly into the library here, I also want to go ahead and post this to our Facebook page. So we can tie directly into whatever Facebook page that you manage. Here I have a media relations page that I manage, but as you look through, our drop down, we have tons of different pages that we can connect to. So I can quickly create a message, we could say MSNBC talking federal funds. Oops. And I can instantly post that, directly to Facebook. So, the great thing about when you set up these clips is you don't have to routinely set up the clip parameters again. You can still work with the same clip on multiple avenues. So, here we've clipped it out, we've stored it in our library, we've created a Facebook post. I can instantly dive right into Twitter and do the same.
Well, there's actually a really interesting case study with LA Fire Department who use us a ton for social media. So they're in here doing this constantly.
That's correct. So LA Fire Department is a really good story about, they actually process all of the clips, even if it's, if it's just breaking news, directly to Facebook and Twitter. But, what's really cool is every Friday in LA they have this, really cool aerial shot from one of the news stations that it's kind of like a hello from your local fire station, where one of the news choppers will hover over, a fire station in LA, and all the firefighters will be outside, in uniform and near the apparatus and kind of waving at the helicopter as kind of a, good morning LA. So it's really cool to see how interactive, organizations have become with just sharing news. There's a research study done recently where it shows, nowadays 60% of the population gets their news via social media versus traditional media. So, seeing where that curve is kind of leaning towards, Snapstream is a great tool to kind of bridge that gap. So you can see there, we've posted to Facebook, we've posted directly to Twitter. If we click on our tweet here, as soon as we open and my apologies for slow internet connection today.
Sorry, everyone, we're having a minor technical difficulty. We'll get finished up here. Give us just 2 seconds.
All right. Sorry about that. Seems like we're having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues here, but you can see here as soon as we click on the tweet from that was created in Snapstream, we instantly embedded that video as a native video playback directly in our Twitter feed. So anybody that follows me on Twitter can instantly go keep up with what's going on with the federal funds rate based on this clip, and they can simply, like, retweet, follow me, or share that tweet out on their own page. Coming back over, one other thing I want to kind of mention is, kind of ties into our search, is being able to set up email alerts. Snapstream can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you automatically just by setting up, simple automated alerts and automated processes. So, for example, let's, Sarah, did you have another search topic that somebody had asked about?
Yes, we had somebody else had asked about Trump budget.
All right, so Trump will definitely give us a lot of
Should pull
results.
up a lot.
Let's look up Trump budget. So 191 different results, something as early as 30 minutes ago. So, I can continually scour through these results. I can kind of fine tune this and look for what I'm really looking for. Or if I want to be notified every time Trump budget is mentioned, I can simply create an alert. Now, what this does is it creates a closed caption-based search alert, and I can send this to myself. I can send this to, any member of my organization, a distribution list, whoever wants to monitor this news digest, and I could set up a frequency. We can do a near real-time alert for breaking news. We can do every other hour, every 6 hours, but for me, a daily digest of Trump budget seems like a good enough, every 24 hours. Here we've got one search term, we've got Trump budget. I can instantly add additional search terms. We can do, like we said earlier, a federal funds rate. We can add Trump and taxes. That's a lot of results. We can add Trump and Twitter. And we can, kind of easily stagger our results. You can build these out to very refined results to kind of give you just minimal hits. Or you can, as we did here, we did just kind of basic generic terms where it's going to give us a lot of results, and we can kind of sift through those on a daily basis. So once you set up the alert, you would simply click Save, and then every morning when you come into the office, you'll get an email from Snapstream, just like this here. So you can see here it has a list of all the results from our search terms, Trump budget, we have federal funds rate, and I can simply, every morning come in, review these, just kind of review the summary, and if I find something that is important enough that I need to clip it out or I want to review, all I have to do is just simply click the link inside the email, and it takes us directly to that mention, just as if we were searching it locally. So right now we're going to go ahead and go back to our questions here. I want to kind of take a pause through the demonstration and see if there's any other questions that we haven't answered.
So somebody, I guess there was a follow-up question to the one earlier about this being a hardware versus a web service. So they wanted to know what our service, would Snapstream only be able to record local channels?
Good question. So the service itself would be able to record any channels that are available in the cable package that you have. So, for example, here in Houston, we have a combination of DirecTV and Comcast channels that we're feeding into our in-house system here. So we can record pretty much anything that's available to us via our cable subscription or our satellite subscription. Same thing goes for any organization for that matter. Unless you do local antenna, you would have access to your Fox News, your CNN, all your national news stations, including your local news affiliates as well.
Great. Thank you so, Mike, for that demonstration. It was incredibly informative. So if there are any more questions, I think we are about ready to wrap things up here. We've gone through our demonstration, and Rakesh was kind enough to go through those slides with us. We're going to stay on the line here for a little bit in case anybody else has any more questions, anything that you want us to see live in the demo. We'll be happy to kind of go through that with you. So yeah, we'll hang on here for just a little bit in case you guys have questions. So we do have another question on here. Someone asked, how many people can use Snapstream at the same time?
Good question. So Snapstream is open to as many people in your organization as you have. So like you heard Rakesh talking about the U.S. Senate, you can imagine how many comms people and digital directors they have in those individual Senate offices. So each one of those offices has access to Snapstream. You heard them talk about the city of Austin. They have 35 different PIO offices, and each of those individual PIOs, as well as interns, have access to all the content that's recorded on Snapstream. So depending on the level of platform that you go with, you could have anywhere from as little as one person accessing it all the time to 50, 100. Really it's at a limit, or the limit is based on your organization.
All right, everyone. I think that's about wrapping up all the questions. We do have this recorded, so we'll send this out to all of you to reference if you want to share with anyone else, of course. But thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you all very soon. Have a great day.